So in today's business Bible study, what we're gonna get into, I'm actually pretty excited this morning about business Bible study because we're gonna get into some things that's really gonna challenge some of the things that you may have heard in the past. It's gonna challenge some things that you've heard regarding uh, uh, getting doing one thing and getting a certain result. So, like Einstein's theory. So Einstein has a definition of uh, of insanity, right? You may have heard that Einstein's definition of insanity is if you continue to do a certain thing, if you do one thing and you continue to do it and expect a different result, like that's insanity. That's his definition of insanity. And I'm going to tell you that if there I'm challenging that and I'm going to prove that that definition is not 100% correct, because I'm going to show you where, like, you may have been, and you may think, Jim, like Coach Jim, like what are you talking about? There's, like, if you keep doing a certain thing and expect a different result, and you feel like you failed, you've been failing this whole time, and you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and you're getting the same result. Like, yeah, you'd be insane to continue to do the same thing, right? Yeah. Well, I'm going to show you that that is not 100% true, right? And let me in fact, let me give you a little bit of story, because you might be feeling like, man, you've tried this, you've tried that. You've, like, one of the hardest things for people to do is to continue doing the thing that they believe that they've been called to do. Like, that's one of the most difficult things. And you get all these people, like, that are encouraging you, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And it's like, for what? Right? Like, for what? Why do I want to keep going? Like, again, Einstein's definition of insanity is continue to do the same, keep doing this, keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. Like, it's insane, right? You would think it's insane. Well, I'm let me give you a story. In fact, I'll give you a story because here's a great example. The story of the man at the pool of Bethesda. So Jesus, there's this story that, in fact, I'll tell you the story and then I'll give you a little bit of background, right? Because there was a story in the Bible where there was this, the pool of Bethesda is where many of the people then believed that um that pool had healing powers, and many disabled people went to the pool of Bethesda, and they were blind, they were lame, uh they just, there were so many disabilities. People with all kinds of disabilities went to this pool because they believed, this is what the belief was, is that if that an angel would come down and stir the pool, right? There's an angel that would come down and stir the pool, and the first to get in the pool would be healed. And so many of these people would come to the pool, and what would they do? They would lay by the pool. Well, Jesus went to the pool one day, and and he saw that there was this lame man sitting by the pool, right? There was a paralytic who had been paralyzed for 38 years, just sitting by the pool. And he, I mean, 38 years. And Jesus asked the man, he said, do you want to be healed? And the man said, like, the man said three things. he said, he said, like, I have no help. Jesus said, wait, do you want to be healed? The man said, I have no help. I'm doing the best I can, and I'm not as good as them. Like, do you say that? In fact, I'll tell you exactly what he said, but do you say that at times? He's been 38 years paralytic. He came down to the pool. He had obviously been coming for quite a while. But even if this was just his second time, think about this for a second. How do you believe that this man, like I believe that for 38 years after this man, like he found his way to the pool. He was paralytic. He couldn't walk, but he found his way to the pool. And after 38 years of dreaming about, hoping for healing, to be able to walk, did he was still pursuing the thing that he desired, doing the same thing. What? Believing that it could happen. Now, what happened though? Like when he got there, when he was there, and Jesus approached him and said, do you want to be healed? This man didn't say at the top of his lungs, yes, I do. I want to be healed. He didn't even say, oh, please. Like, yeah, without a doubt, I want to be healed. I've been doing this for 30 days. He didn't say that. What did he say? This is what he said. He said, in fact, Jesus said, do you want to get well? And the man explained to him this. He said that he had no one to help him. And he had no one to help him into the pool when it was stirred up, and the others would go down ahead of him. So again, he gave Jesus three excuses. He said, and these are the same excuses that we have a tendency, like after you've been for many, many years, or in some cases, many, many months, or in some cases, many, many weeks, or, oh, wait, in some cases, just many, many days. Hold it. If you're like most people, in some cases, it's just many, many hours, right? And you've gone through trying to do the thing, striving for the thing. And now, after striving for whether it be for hours or days or weeks or months or even years, and the opportunity finally presents itself, what happens? Like, are we like the paralytic where we come up with the excuses that, what? Well, I have no help, or I'm doing the best I can, or I'm not as good as they are. Like, do you come up with those excuses? Do we all have a tendency to do that sometimes, right? But hold on. Going back to Einstein's definition, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, you're insane. Well, was this man insane? What did he keep doing? He kept striving for what? For healing. He believed that if he pursued it, eventually he'd be healed. Now, he may his faith not have been the size of a mountain, but how big was his faith? His faith was at least as big as what the Lord calls us to have, is what? The faith of a mustard seed. It was small, but it was big enough for him to keep trying. It was so small that when the opportunity presented itself, he didn't even believe it was even true. He focused more on the excuses of why he couldn't do the thing. Why he wasn't good enough. Why everyone was better than him. But what did the Lord say? He didn't say you need to have a mountain size faith. He said what? We just needed to have the faith of a mustard seed to continue to believe. Right? And so what happened to the paralytic man? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. He had the luck. He had luck that carried him through. Wait, what? What? Luck? Wait, you talking about Jesus, now you're talking about luck. Jim, are you crazy? Like, what is this? No, it was luck that carried him through. Well, let me tell you why it was luck. Because my definition of luck is when your preparation meets the opportunity. And so, well, how is that luck? Well, it's luck because the the journey that the man has been on for 38 years was the destination. The journey that he's been on for 38 years has prepared him. The journey that he's been on while he's been doing what? Waiting on the Lord. Whether he knows it or not, he's been he's kept the principles. He's been instilling and installing the principles that I'm going to lay out. And in fact, what I'm going to do, if you just hang out with me just for a little bit, like just a few minutes, I'm going to show you some things that will, like, I've never, in fact, I'm going to show you something at the end that I've never shown anyone before. I haven't even shown my wife. I haven't shown my kids. I talk to my kids every day. They're part of my business. I haven't shown them this. I'm going to show you my assets. That when everything gets tough, when I look at my assets, like I know I can't fail. Like, because so I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you my assets. Like, these are like the most valuable things to me. And in fact, like when I show you them, you're going to also, it's going to reveal some of the assets that you have, that when everything seems down, when everything seems like it's lost, when everything is going even great and wonderful, you reflect on your assets that will continue to propel you forward. Right? And so going back to the paralytic man, what happened? Like I said, when preparation meets opportunity. So during this time, all these 38 years, he's been being prepared. Like there was days when I'm sure he's cried out. I'm sure there were days when he wanted to give up. He's no different than you and I. His struggle was just different. It was a struggle in the journey that God had for him to prepare him. And I could tell you, like, we all not only need a little luck, but we all will have a little luck. Like it might be a little luck or it might be big luck. Why? What do I say? Why do I say that? I say that because we're all being prepared, and it's not if the opportunity presents itself, because each and every one of us will get the opportunity. Some of us will get more opportunities than others because we create those, but each and every one of us will get an opportunity. The question is, are you prepared? Are you prepared when that opportunity presents itself? And so the man, the paralytic man, was he prepared? Well, he was prepared. Why? Because he had journeyed for 38 years. He didn't just stop. He didn't give up and just go into his room and curl up into a ball and say, this will never happen. He was at the pool. And then what did Jesus say? Jesus said after he came up with the excuses, Jesus said, what? He said, get up, pick up your mat and walk. And what happened? The man didn't say, well, I can't do it. The man didn't say, oh no, this is not me. oh no, that's not possible. I've been doing this for 38 years sitting here. What did he do? It says, at once, the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. So, so I share that with you because like his story is no different than our story. There's some similarities, there's a lot of differences. But the similarity is what? The journey is the destination. The similarity is what? The preparation in the journey. The similarity is what? He got the opportunity. The similarity is what? We all have excuses, right? The similarity is that. Now, the difference though is, are you prepared? Were you prepared when the opportunity presented itself? Because I believe if you're listening to this, if you're old enough to watch this video on YouTube, then you've had at least one opportunity in your life. The question is, were you prepared? If you are old enough to watch this video on YouTube and you're still asking those questions, you're still having those excuses, then I submit to you, chances are you weren't prepared. Well, okay, Jim. Okay, coach. How can I prepare myself for the next opportunity? Because I believe, like I'm pretty confident, like probably 99% sure you will get another opportunity. Now, would you like me to tell you how to be prepared for that opportunity? I'm going to show you how to prepare yourself, because here's the thing that the Lord tells us. This is what the Bible tells us that makes me know 110%, like 1000% that Einstein's definition of insanity is wrong, right? And what is it? It's this. Isaiah 40 verse 31. It says, "Wait on the Lord, and he shall renew your strength." In fact, that verse is so powerful. Like I'm going to read the whole passage. Let me read the whole passage to you so that you can understand why I'm saying that is wrong. Like he's crazy. So, not crazy. I'm not going to say he's crazy. I'm going to say it's just like it's wrong. Like it's proven 1000% that he's wrong. He may not have been wrong in most things, but here's where he's wrong. Isaiah 40 verse 31. Verse 28 through 31. It says, "Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He who does not faint or grow weary, his understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might, he increases his strength. He gives, even the youth shall faint and be weary, and young men shall fall exhausted. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." And this passage serves as a reminder of God's infinite power and wisdom, contrasting the limitations of our human strength and our endurance. It emphasizes that even the strongest, the most vigorous people can become exhausted. But those who hope in and depend on the Lord will find their strength renewed. And the metaphor of soaring on wings like eagles, it captures a sense of freedom, of vitality that comes from what? From trusting in God. All right. So did you catch that part? Like, do you get it? Prayerfully you do, because that's one of God's principles. And and whether the paralytic knew the Lord or not, what did he do? He still implemented one of God's principles. He waited on the Lord. Like he continued in his 38-year journey believing that he will be healed, believing that he could be healed. Remember, it was ancient tradition that these people would go to the water because they believed that the angel came down. The angel of God came down to the water and stirred up the water. So, although it doesn't really talk about his relationship with the Lord, he still implemented one of God's principles: to wait. And so how do we guarantee that we will get that opportunity? How do we guarantee that we will be prepared when that opportunity comes? Well, I'm going to show you 5 things in just a moment how we do that. But the first thing, before even I show you those 5 things, is this. Well, it's this. It's wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. And then the 5 things I'm going to show you is, how do you wait? Like, what do you do when you're waiting? How do we best wait on the Lord? Like, what do we do? Do we just sit here like and do nothing? No, that's not it. Like, are we out there just trying to figure stuff out ourselves? No, that's not it either. Right? I'm going to show you the 5 things, because also, like, it's not like God, like, there's so many other examples who have have done these things, that have had great success when the opportunity presented itself, because what? They were prepared. However, during their journey, it got it was like they wanted to give up too. Think about Moses. Moses wanted to give up. Like, he questioned God. He said, Lord, like just in my life. He asked them, he said, like, the stuff that I'm going through with the Israelites, like with your people, like, I can't bear it anymore. Like, I'm not their father. Like, I didn't birth all of these children, but yet you put this on me. Like, and like, I'm just done. I'm tired. Just why don't you just take me out? That's what Moses said. Like, think about what Job said. Job even said, Lord, like he cursed the day of his birth. Like Job's journey was it was like it like there like most people don't even like to read the book of Job because they're so afraid of of what possibly could even happen to them. And could they go through, could they bear it, the weight of that type of loss that Job had? Think about think about Naomi. Naomi was like in her journey, Naomi lost her husband and her two sons. And and in Naomi's journey prepared her for something greater. Her her journey was like in her mind, like, Lord, you took my husband out, like you took him from me. And then my two sons, like soon thereafter, you took them from me as well. Like Naomi was so distraught where she told her daughters-in-law, like your husbands are gone. Just go. Go back to Moab. And I'm leaving. I'm leaving Moab. I'm leaving here and I'm going back to Bethlehem. Go back to your families. Stay here in Moab. Go back to your families. You're young, you're beautiful. You will be able to marry again. And her two daughters who loved her so much, like Naomi gave them a kiss and said, "Go back." And her two daughters, Orpha and Ruth, they cried. They, no, I don't want to. We want to be with you, but Orpha, but Naomi said, "Wait, like even if you wanted to stay with me, are you going to wait for me to have, even if I'm married again, are you going to wait for me to have another two more sons so that they would, like, if they, by the time they become older, that you could marry those two sons? Like by then you'd be old women. It wouldn't even work. Are you willing to wait that long? Don't, like, just go back. Because I'm not even trying to marry again. Like I'm old. I can't even have children, but even if I could, would you be willing to wait? Go back. And know what Orpha did? Orpha kissed her mother-in-law, she cried, and she went back. But Ruth, what did Ruth say? Ruth said, "Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay." She said, "And the God, your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. And let only death separate us." That's what Ruth said. And Naomi was like, "All right, fine. I can't convince her. So come with me." But what did she do? When she went back to Bethlehem, all the women that when she returned, they were so excited. They missed her so much. They missed Naomi. And Naomi, they greeted her. And Naomi said, when they greeted her, they called her by her name. Her name, Naomi, meant pleasant. And Naomi said, "Why? Why do you call me pleasant? Don't call me Naomi." She said, "Call me Mara. Call me Mara because it means bitter. God has treated me with such bitterness." Like Naomi was discouraged. She in her journey, she didn't realize the preparation that God had for her in that journey. And literally she also wanted to just throw her hands up and just be done. But what happened with Naomi? Naomi was the one that God used to introduce Ruth to Boaz. Well, what is the relevance of that? Well, Boaz was the kinsman redeemer. Boaz was her brother's close relative. And I mean, Boaz was Ruth's husband's close relative. And he was very, very wealthy. And Boaz saw Ruth and took very kindly to Ruth. And when Boaz saw the heart of Ruth, when he heard the heart of Ruth, he didn't just take kindly. He took kindly because she was a beautiful woman. But he also took kindly because the heart of how she treated her mother-in-law when all else seemed lost. And what did Boaz do? Boaz said, I'm going to redeem you. He says, not only am I going to buy back all the land of your husband and your sons, but I'm also going to marry and take my position in the family to marry the widow, Ruth. And now his wealth became her wealth. Naomi was taken care of for the rest of her life, but even greater than that, they had a baby. And the baby that they had was Obed. And Obed, who was Obed? Obed was the father of Jesse, who was the father of David. And that was the lineage of Joseph, the husband of Mary. So Naomi's journey was the destination. God prepared her through that journey because she didn't have a mountain size of faith. She had a mustard seed of faith. She didn't end it all. She just continued to wait. And even though it may not have seemed like it at times, even though when she may have looked like she'd thrown up her hands at times, even though just like you and all of us, we may get discouraged at times, she still implemented God's principle. Wait on the Lord, and he shall renew your strength. Regardless of how young you are, how old you are, how strong you are, how weak you are, you shall mount up on eagle's wings. He who waits on the Lord shall renew their strength. And so, I was reading a book. I just ordered a book this morning. And the book that I ordered, it was called $1 Million Weekend. And it was written by Noah Kagan. And one of the things that Noah's built 8 multi-million-dollar businesses, and his formula is such that like in 48 hours you could start your multi-million-dollar business in 48 hours without any money, without any tech, without any like you have the framework, but without like building programs and having a product and all of this stuff, like without all of the things that most people believe they need to have in order to launch a multi-million-dollar business. So he wrote this book. It's called $1 Million Weekend. And one of the things that he talks about is that there are 2 things which stop most entrepreneurs. two major things that stop most entrepreneurs. And the two things that stop most entrepreneurs are just getting started, like just getting started. And then the second thing is the fear of asking, the fear of asking for help. So most entrepreneurs never have success because they're afraid to just get started. And those who actually that are afraid to get started, and many who actually do get started are afraid to ask for help. Like I'm like I've been there. Like I'm challenged with that all the time. I'm not afraid to ask for help, but sometimes I just don't. Like, are you like, and I'm a multi-million dollar entrepreneur. I built a couple of multi-million dollar businesses. I've helped many people do that. But I still am challenged with that at times too. Why? Because sometimes I think I know it all. Sometimes I think I know enough. Right? And sometimes I just don't want to bother anyone. Like, what about you? Do you go through that sometimes? Like, if you're like most people, chances are you do. So what he's saying is true. Well, there's a host of other things that challenge entrepreneurs, but those are a couple things. But let me ask you this: do you also get challenged with like the paralytic, where you think, oh, you have no good ideas? Hmm. Hmm. Do you get challenged with, oh wait, I got too many ideas? Like, you get stuck with the paralysis of analysis. Do you get challenged with with like, I only have the weekends. Like, I'm working all week. Like, the only way I can start my business is if I do it on the weekend. Like, I only have a little bit of time. Do you get challenged where with the idea of, well, I've started things before and I quit. Like, I started and they were somewhat successful, and then like I quit. Like, are you challenged with that? Are you challenged with, well, what if it gets so big? How can I scale? Like, once it gets to a certain point, how can I scale? Will I be able to even scale this thing? Like, does that challenge you? How about, well, I just don't have enough time? How about, I don't read enough, right? I don't have enough money. I don't know how to market. I don't have the technical skills. Like, if you're challenged with those things, guess what? You know different than most people. You know different than most people from an entrepreneurial perspective. And and the greatest entrepreneurs that have had those challenges have asked themselves those questions. The question though is, where's your attention? Because where your attention goes, your attention, the energy flows. And so if your attention is on those things, then your energy and your intention is going to be on those same things. So change your attention to change your intention. And if you change your attention to change your intention, then the result you're going to get in the end is going to be not the failure, but the success. And I'm not just talking about business. Like, that's anything in life. Most people focus on all the excuses. So just change your energy. It doesn't mean you don't have them. Like, they may pop up in your head. Just don't let your attention stay there. Take the energy away from it. And then your intention will go somewhere else. To what? The answers. What did Jesus say? Get up, pick up your mat and walk. Right? Think about what happened with Job. Think about what happened with Naomi. Think about what happened with, like, even Jacob. You realize with Jacob, when Jacob was about to like have this, he was afraid because now he knew his brother Esau, who he had deceived and stolen his birthright, like many years prior, he stole his birthright, and Esau wanted to kill him. And his mom said, Jacob, you need to go. Go to my brother Laban's house and like go seek him out. Just get out of here for a bit because your brother wants to kill you. And Jacob left. He left and he built so much wealth while he was away. And then on his way back, he wanted to come back. And on his way back, his brother Esau, he heard that his brother Esau was coming to meet him with a whole entourage of soldiers with him. Jacob was so afraid. And during that time, like while he was preparing to meet with Esau, like he started talking with God. And I mean, and then the Lord actually met with Jacob that night to the point where he was wrestling. Like he wrestled with the Lord. And he wrestled so much with the angel of God that the angel of God was like, dude, let me go. Jacob, let me go. He touched him on his hip, popped his hip out of place, said, let me go. And you would think that Jacob would be like, okay, enough is enough. Like, okay. No, Jacob didn't let him go. In that journey, there was pain. He popped his hip out of socket. And in that pain, Jacob did not let go. Jacob held on and said to the angel of the Lord, he said to the Lord, he said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. Until you bless me. And what did God do? He blessed him. He changed his name from Jacob to Israel. He changed his name from Jacob the deceiver to Israel, the one who wrestles with God, the one who strives with God, the one who struggles with God, the one who struggles with the Lord. It also means God prevails. So think about that for a bit. Like if you're the one who struggles with the Lord, are you the one? Like, I hope I'm the one. I hope I'm the one. Why? Because if I'm the one struggling with the Lord, that means I'm not struggling with God. I'm giving my struggles to God. Are you giving your struggles to him? Do you know that those struggles that you have are part of the journey, which is the destination? That is part of what? The preparation? And it means God prevails. Israel also means God prevails. So whatever you give to the Lord, he will prevail. So are you the one who struggles with the Lord? Hopefully you are. Hopefully you are the one who struggles with the Lord. Why? Because God prevails. Now I said, okay, I'm going to tell you how to wait on the Lord. And I also said, I'm going to show you my assets. So I'm going to take another couple minutes to just tell you how to wait on the Lord. And then I'm going to get up. I'm going to show you on my board my assets. And when you look at those assets and then you take your assets, write them out, look at them, understand what they are, your struggle with the Lord, your success, God prevailing, is guaranteed. Right? It will be guaranteed. Nothing will stop you. And even if it's a mustard seed of faith or mountain size of faith, when you implement these principles, if you don't implement them, you're going to fail. If you do implement them, you'll succeed, whether you believe or not. Right? So let me give you 5 things. So the 5 things are this. In Deuteronomy 10, verse 12, it's the essence. It's the essence. God gave us the essence of the law. And what is the essence of the law? He said the essence of the law is what? First, to fear the Lord. So in Proverbs 9:10, it says what? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. In Psalm 111:10, it says the same thing. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and a good understanding have all those who do his commandments. His praise endures forever. So that word kept coming up, understanding. So what I want to show you real quick, just real quick, I just want to give you the definition of, like, the Hebrew definition of understanding. And so the Hebrew definition of understanding is benai. And benai, it's a sense of discernment. And this is important that you understand it, because it says what? It says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So we're not just talking about the beginning, because it's important how we begin. But what's more important is how we end. Right? There's been many examples in the Bible, even in your life. Like we all made mistakes. We've all made mistakes, and by the grace of God, He didn't give up on us. Right? So remember, as I said, you will have another opportunity. If you're still here, if you lost one opportunity, you'll have another one. But want to make sure you're prepared. Right? So it's how we end. And it says what? It says the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding, and a good understanding have all those who do his commandment. Well, why is the word understanding so important here? Because it's about how we end. And it says the Hebrew meaning is benai, which conveys a sense of discernment, insight, and the ability to distinguish between various aspects of knowledge, making connections between them, and comprehending the deeper meaning. It implies more than just an intellectual knowledge, but it encompasses wisdom applied with insight, allowing one to grasp the essence of what is being learned and observed. Right? And so we'll get back to that word observe. So the first thing is the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord, the knowledge of him. When we have that type of fear, where it's an awe, it's a reverence, then our understanding of who he is and who we is will go to a whole nother level and open up a whole nother mindset. It will also open up and show us the opportunities that are right in front of us. The second thing is walk in his ways. No, I made a mistake. Not walk in some of his ways. It says walk in all of his ways. Walk in all of his ways. The third thing, while we're waiting on the Lord, is to love him. He says to love him. The fourth thing he says, while we're waiting on him, he says to serve him with all of our soul, with all of our heart. Serve him. It's the fourth thing. And then the fifth thing he says is to keep his commandments, and statutes. Now, the word keep is also similar to the word, it has a similar meaning in Hebrew as the word observe. And it means to observe, to guard, or to pay close, careful attention. So he's saying, like, you might think that the word keep is like you just got to do these things. Like it's something like it's like he's cracking a whip. Do this, do that, do that. It's like do all these things. No, that is not what he's saying. He's saying to guard them carefully. Like if he's saying to guard his commandments and his statutes carefully, why? Like what do we guard carefully? Do you guard your loved ones carefully, your children? Do you guard them carefully? And if you do, why? Is it something you do because you're being cracked with the whip to do? No, you do it because they're precious to you. Because they're the things that mean the most to you. Do you guard, like God's blessed you with success, with wealth, with money, like the money that you make? Do you guard that carefully? Why? Do you do it because he says what? He wants you to be good stewards over the things that he's blessed you with. If you want more. Right? So you guard it because it's important. Because it's precious. Do you guard your relationship with your loved one, with your significant other? Yeah, like today is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Do you guard the relationship with the love of your life? Why? Because it's precious to you. They're precious. And so he's saying, guard his commandments and his statutes. Why? Because those are the things, when you do these things, that is the key to your success in everything. In everything. So when we're waiting on the Lord, do those 5 things. Do them. Right? And so now I'm going to wrap up. And I'm going to wrap up with, as I said, now I'm going to show you my board. And my board, as I show you my board, I'm going to show you what the Lord says. What my assets are. And as I said, I've never shared this with anyone, ever. So I'm going to share it with you because that's what this is all about. Right? Here are my assets. My assets. Now, you may not be able to read them all. I'll zoom in, but I'll read them to you. And I wish I could actually share my screen, because if I could share my screen, you'd be able to see them even better. But I'll read them to you. You may not be able to read my writing, but it's real. Like, this is it. So it says, what are my assets? It says here, okay, my assets, God, a very special relationship with him, fear, reverence, walk, love, serve, obey, keep. Deuteronomy 10:12. I just read that to you, didn't I? Yep. All right. Then it's all these other things that I'm going to read in a second. But it says at the end, if I have this, it doesn't say if I have this, it says I do have this. And because I have this, so this I have, so it's impossible for me to fail when he sends me. All right. So my asset says, this I have, these are my assets. I have this. And because I have this, it's impossible. Like, not almost impossible. It's 1000% impossible for me to fail because I have this. And when he sends me, I can't fail. So let me just read the assets. First asset is God, my relationship with God. Not just a relationship, a very special relationship with him. Why? Out of fear, reverence, walking with him, loving him, serving him, obeying him, and keeping his commandments. Like that's my number one asset. Number one. So that's number one. Number two, what's my other assets? Not my identity, his identity. It says his identity. Well, what is his identity? His identity is, he said, I am his child. I am like him in Genesis 1:26 and Isaiah 55, verses 8 through 9. That's what he tells me. He also says, I also have his assignment. Remember, Jacob had an assignment. Naomi had an assignment. Job had an assignment. Samson had an assignment. Abraham had an assignment. Isaac had an assignment. Jacob had an assignment. Joseph had an assignment. Isaiah had an assignment. Jesus had an assignment. We had an assignment. You have an assignment. I have an assignment. His assignment. And when we walk in his assignment, remember, we struggle with God. What does Israel mean? It means God prevails. When we give those struggles to God in that journey, which is the destination, God prevails, right? So my assignment is what? To be fruitful, to multiply, to fill the earth, to subdue it, to have dominion over all these things. Again, Genesis 1:26. But wait, what does that mean? You said subdue it. What does that mean, coach? Well, it means subdue means it's in Hebrew, it's kabash, and it says to bring under control, to master, or to subjugate, to lead, to steward, to manage with care. What does master mean? Well, master, the definition of master, one definition of master, not Webster's definition. In fact, I got this from one of my coaches, one of my brothers, who the definition of master is to be able to execute effortlessly. So to be able to execute effortlessly without the use of conscious resources. That's mastering. It ain't just learning how to do something. Remember, the definition of understanding is what? The definition of understanding is a deeper knowledge, a discernment, so that you can act on things in a greater way. Where you look, you sound, you get results so much differently than everyone else. But it seems like you're doing everything different. What's different? It's a different level of knowledge, of understanding. It's discernment. It's mastery. Right? And dominion is to rule over, to have authority, to steward with care. What is the next thing on my asset list? My asset list is I have his wisdom. And what is that? A deep, practical understanding or skill in life. That is the definition in Hebrew, which is kama, right? Proverbs 4:7 and James 1:5. I also have his knowledge. His knowledge is what? Awareness. Awareness. Dot in Hebrew, which is Proverbs 2:6 and Hosea 4:6. Read them. Write these scriptures down. Go back and read them. His understanding, again, discernment. There's that word again, understanding. Benai, right? Proverbs 4:7, Proverbs 2:6. Write these scriptures down. I also have his purpose, God's will, right? It's either chok or zava. And Proverbs 19:21, Jeremiah 29:11, Romans 8:28, Psalms 37:4. Write them down. His vision, his revelation, and his guidance. Chazan, that's Proverbs 28:18, Hebrews 2, verse 2 through 3, Acts 2, verse 17, Psalms 37, verse 4. And then his favor, which is his kindness, his blessings, his grace. And Khan is the Hebrew word for it. Psalm 5:12, Psalm 30, verse 5, Proverbs 3, verse 4. And so those are my assets. Like those are the assets. And as I said, the assets, it's not just me that has these assets. I'm just aware of them. Are you aware of your assets? What's your relationship with the Lord? Do you understand his identity for you? Do you know what his assignment is for you? Do you understand his wisdom? Do you have his knowledge, his understanding? Are you aware of his purpose for your will, his will for your life, his will for you? Do you understand his vision? Has he given you the vision? He's given you vision. Are you aware of it? And are you aware that you are favored by God? Are you aware that he's blessed you with his kindness, his grace? And if you are aware of those things and you recognize that those are your greatest assets, these are things that no one can take from you. However, from the day you were born, the world has tried to take these from you by making you forget and not even recognize that they exist. To believe you are something different than you are, and you have a lot less than you really have. If you have these things, yes, this I have, so it is impossible for me to fail. When? Whenever he sends me. So we're going to wrap up with that. I hope it was helpful. I pray it was helpful because many people out there believe that if you continue doing the same thing over and over again, you ain't gonna get the same result. And it is Einstein's definition of failure. And I'm here to tell you that there's one thing that if you continue to do it over and over again, it may seem like you're failing as you're going through the journey. And God is using that journey to prepare you for the opportunity. It may seem like you're failing. Others may look at you and say, why? Why does he continue to do that? Why does she continue to do these things? Why isn't he doing this? Or why isn't she doing that? Why don't they just do something different? And you know the vision that he's given you. You understand your assets. You know what his purpose is and what his assignment is for your life. You know, and you're in that assignment and you know that he sent you. And although you may even be getting frustrated, you may feel down, you may have thrown your hands up. You may be saying like Naomi, don't call me pleasant. Like, don't call me pleasant. Call me bitter. You may even, it may have even gotten so bad where like Job, you curse the day you were born. You might have been like Moses, where you may be like Moses, where you're saying, Lord, just end it. Like you may be like Moses, where or even like Samson, you may have had a victory, and then you have a challenge. and you begin to question God and say, did you bring me here that I can now fail or die? Is that what you did this for? Like, you may have gotten to that point too. But that's part of the journey. And he tells us, with a mustard seed of faith, a mustard seed, if you persevere, he's preparing you. He's preparing you like he did with Moses, like he did with Jacob, like he did with Joseph, like he did with Naomi, like he did with Job. He prepared them like he did with the man, the paralytic. He prepared them in that journey because there was an opportunity that was going to happen, that he was bringing to them, so that once their preparation met opportunity, when the preparation looked like all else was failing and they were insane, based on what Einstein said, because they waited on the Lord, then the opportunity presented itself. Now the success that they have, the success that you have, the success that you will have, the success that we will have, the success that he will have through us is 1000% guaranteed. And so, prayerfully, this was helpful. We're going to close out in prayer. If it was helpful, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and share it with someone that you believe that this could be a blessing to. And I just want to encourage you, don't give up. Persevere. The destination is not in the result. The destination is in the journey. Remember, he loves you. Father God, I thank you for your grace and for your mercy, Lord. You're an awesome God, Lord. We love you so much, Father. And we thank you for your son, Jesus Christ, Lord, who died on the cross for our sins, Lord, that by accepting him, we might be forgiven. We will be forgiven and have eternal life with you, Father. And I just thank you for all who had the opportunity to listen to this business Bible study message that you impressed upon my heart. Father, I pray that it did not fall on deaf ears, but you tell us, Lord, that your word shall not return to you void, and it will accomplish what you please, and it shall prosper in the thing for which you sent it. So, Father, for all the ears that hear it, Father, I pray that you will just prosper it in them, give them encouragement, help them to see and know, Lord, that when they wait on you, you will renew their strength. Lord, you're an awesome God. We love you. You're an awesome God. We thank you. You're an awesome God. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Love you guys. Keep the faith. See you on the next video. God bless you.